All right. We are back, people. Sorry I took a few days off this week. It's been busy with other projects with my old TV show Holding Court, which some of you may have seen if you're friends with me on Facebook. I uploaded one episode, only like 50 more to go, using these old DV tapes, which were innovative in 1998. Now your phone has more pixels than these old tapes did. So you thought last show I was unprepared. Wait to this show. I don't have a lot of politics to talk about, honestly. It's been really hard to watch the news. I can't seem to get the energy, the requisite patience or concern to like give a shit enough to watch. So it's been a problem with me getting things to comment on. But I think I'm gonna get back into like watching the news and getting outraged. I think I'm over outraged. Like I'm trying to figure out the coronavirus conspiracies. Like what angle is being played here. I think it's just money. I mean, it's a real virus, but it's a money grab. The 2008 was a money grab with Obama, and this one is a money grab. But I don't want to get too far into that. So last thing, or a new news item related to the Tara Reid situation for all of you Democrats who are, forced to vote for Biden. So it turns out there's court documents that also contemporaneously support that something happened. So when she went through her divorce or whatever with her ex-husband, he mentioned how something that happened with Biden had traumatized her to the point where, that was an effect on their marriage. Now, with her mama calling Larry King live and her ex-husband, like he's divorcing her, so it's not like he's like doing something for her. I mean, first of all, it's absurd to think like for those kind of conspiracy theorists that like, why is she coming out now? Well, there's evidence from 25 years ago where she was coming out to people. And you gotta remember, this is the mid 90s. I'm just looking at my old show and seeing the way I talked. It's different. Things have changed. You used to be able to say and do certain things, and expectations were just different. Okay, so there's plenty of reasonable corroboration to the point where, Biden should drop out. Particularly the way the Democratic constituted now. You almost have to have a replacement candidate. Now, I know most of y'all love Cuomo. I'm not a Cuomo fan. I think he's another corporatist Democrat. And like I told y'all with the, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but with the police lockdown, there's an article that my man Antar gave me. He's my research assistant. 40 people got locked up. 35 were black in New York. Per this police focus on enforcing social distancing. Right? Lock them up, we're going to put them in jail? Where they go get coronavirus? Does that make sense? Why would arrest be the consequence of a police interaction for not properly social distancing? It just seems absurd on the face of it. 35 of 40 were black, and the other 5 were non-white. So no white people got arrested. All at the park and shit, chilling. At the beach, chilling. None. 0 got arrested. 35 black, 5 other. And then people wonder why people of color focus on focus on race so much. Somebody just commented, I need to stop smacking the water. Sorry, I'm thirsty right now. Not that kind of thirsty. I'm actually like thirsty. Now, those who've been following the show, and I've been going in on nurses the last few days. And here's a story, and I'm gonna segue into white supremacy. Let me go here. All right, nurse busted for stealing dead coronavirus patient's credit card. Think about that. Your hero nurses, stealing. Now, that's not to say that how the fuck did I? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Hold on. I'm supposed to do the screen share. Here we go. Oh no, shit. Hold on. God damn it. Let me go back to here. And then go. I need a producer. Voila. You want to be a nurse? Bitch, you got to go school first. So my point being is I'm not trying to say all nurses are bad, but I'm also trying to say not all nurses are good. And we did the same thing with firefighters and cops and the military after 9/11. Every time there's some sort of calamity, the people who have to be on the front lines are deified. But there's a lot of pieces of shit who are nurses and cops, firemen, and soldiers. And we shouldn't simplify things like that. Now I was thinking, oh, actually, it wasn't me. No, this was Antar's. I'm going to use this. So if you think about white supremacists, like if they're plotting and planning, what careers would they go into where they can have the most impactful negative impact on the folks they hate? It's cops, prison guards, and nurses. Now, the caveat being that they need blue collar kind of jobs because they're not that bright, or at least they're, the majority of them are not. Now, the elites go into those corollary industries. They become judges and politicians. And then you have a nice tapestry of harm, right? People with malign intent that are strategically situated at life and death moments. Right? Just imagine. There's another article out there, or no, it's a video of this nurse crying and shit about, no, she's a good nurse, talking about how we're killing all these patients. Now, she's not saying a white supremacist thing, but she's just saying through negligence. You do the little wrong dosage, they get the charts mixed up, not cleaning bedpans, people die of infections, all kind of shit. People die all the time in the hospital. That's where you either get saved or get dead. And obviously, depending on your zip code and which hospital you manage to go to, that's going to greatly affect your outcome. Now, if you were a white supremacist like my neighbor, that bitch, the nurse. Oh, that's right. I gotta update y'all on that too. It would be so easy to put your finger on the scale of the outcome. Pay more attention to the patients that are the right racial category, neglect those who are not. Cops you all know about. There's another incident going on right now with the off-duty cops murder that nigga on tape. And then why should there need to be public outcry to press charges? And no, they're going to ask the grand jury. Here's a prediction. The grand jury is going to say there's not enough evidence to press to go ahead with a trial. The reason why you know that, because the prosecutor, here's the thing about the law, what they say about grand juries. A prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich because the prosecutor is in control of all the evidence that is submitted to the grand jury. It doesn't have to be, there's no exculpatory evidence. It's all one sided. It's the DA saying, here's what I got. Give me an indictment. All right. The fact there was this long delay and this way this prosecutor is like couching the expectation. No, it's not up to me. It's up to the grand jury. Well, he's going to present exculpatory evidence on the behalf of the police. Guaranteed. I said it first. And the reason why they're going to do that, because they know it's all just about buying time. Like Michael Flynn. He just got, they're not going to press charges now. Remember Michael Flynn? Probably not. Most people don't. He was the first of the Trump confidants, cabinet members that got indicted, right? And he turned state's witness and then got a phone call from Trump, which obviously now we can look back on and say, look, if you shut the fuck up, I got you. Right? So now, after it's all said and done, nothing's going to happen. If you can remember back to the first year, first half a year when Trump was first in office, that was the biggest thing. That was the thing that was pre-Russiagate. Then they got obsessed with that, with the Russia thing. Now Michael Flynn is gone. He's scot-free. But you don't remember, so there's no outrage. And you're not going to remember these two off-duty cops that shot that jogger in cold blood because in a few months, with on a Friday, they're going to release the news story. Grand jury did not indict. It's predictable. All right. So, oh yeah. Speaking of, we got on nurses. Let me stick with that theme of professions. Two professions that are the most insecure to me are comedians and doctors. Okay. Comedians want you to love them. And doctors are scared because you're going to figure out they're not that smart. And I'm not hating on doctors. But again, I think we run the risk of giving people credit that don't deserve it when we anoint entire professions a thing. Smart, heroic, brave. There are smart doctors, but they're not smart because they're doctors. There's a lot of dumbass doctors. Look at that nigga doing the coronavirus, the Surgeon General. He's not that smart. Dr. Ben. This nigga was or might still be, the world's greatest, neurosurgeon. Did them surgeries on them babies and shit. Right? I mean, separated like Siamese twins in the head or something like that. It was like an amazing surgery. But he not that smart. Maybe being a surgeon is just like being a mechanic. But instead of nuts and bolts, it's capillaries and tissue. Right? You can be really good at something, but not know a whole lot. You ever talk to a doctor about business? They don't know shit. The problem with doctors is their life is kind of set for them. They're in college forever, so they don't really grow up. But they know they're going to make substantial money. So they never have that period of time like even lawyers, because lawyers can be broke. So lawyers got to hustle. That's why most lawyers, conversationally at least, are smart. They can just talk about different subjects because they have to be on their toes because nothing's really laid out for them. They got to go figure out, because there's this presumption of success with lawyers, they got to go get it, right? Doctors don't really have to go get it. It's kind of handed to them. At least up to, 300, 400,000 a year, whatever it's going to be after they get done with their residency. They're going to make that. They're going to have a bunch of debt to pay back. They're going to have a house. Credit will be extended to them. So they never have to really grow up. School, then semi-wealth. And because of the nature of their business, they have to constantly get their, continuing education credits and stuff in medicine. A lot of them don't do anything but medicine. So they don't know shit about politics. Go to your doctor and try to gauge him or her on politics. They are disengaged. The only thing they give a shit about is, and you can have the most progressive liberal doctor or whatever, them motherfuckers want money. So when you're like talking about insurance companies or Medicare for all, their perspective is completely different. Their perspective is, how can they get paid the most money as fast as possible? Right? I forgot what was going on. Oh, the comedians. They always trying to work their bit into regular conversation. Like, it's so insecure. Like, stop it. Like, don't try to run your lines on me. Oh, I got some random thoughts. Prepare for random thoughts. I'm playing the music this time too. Here's my theme music for random thoughts. Yes. Let me go back. Camera 2. Just, little visual elements. Keep your mind stimulated. About to set up. I really do love the packs better. I'm sorry. I need to do product reviews related to marijuana products. I need to get that popping because I got all of them. I'm like a geek with devices for THC and CBD consumption. I love this shit. It's just, it's amazing time to be alive. When I grew up, we didn't have all this shit. It wasn't all these different strains that you had with stress or chronic. With no cookies. With all this fancy shit. That didn't exist. Some Reggie Bush or some chronic. Oh, the random thought is, I don't understand how foods don't have calories. And then I started thinking, I was like, man, I don't know what a calorie is. I looked it up, and it's a measurement. So calorie is a measurement of the amount of energy it takes to burn 1 kilojoule or some shit that of energy. And I said, I still don't know what that means. Like, what is it? Our whole life, and I bet y'all don't know. I bet you don't. We spend our whole lives using this word and constructing diets and exercise programs based on calories, and we don't know what a calorie is. Why come I can eat food like you can eat a whole goddamn, you can eat a whole bushel of celery and won't have any calories, but you full because you got that goddamn celery in your stomach. You're not that full because celery ain't going to satiate you. But that's it. But you get a spoonful of olive oil and drink that. That's 130 calories. I don't understand. I know I went to public school, but I need somebody to explain how food don't have calories. That don't make sense to me. I think somebody lying. I have problems taking naps. And I need to take more naps. Because first of all, you're in the house all goddamn day. You got to take naps. People who are able to take naps, I think, are better off than people who aren't, particularly in this Rona situation. Now, for me, in addition to not being able to take a nap, when I felt like today, I didn't drink no coffee today. I've had 0 cups of coffee. And I smoked earlier today. Normally, I just smoke with y'all at night. But I did one of these during my grocery store run. It's a parking lot chill move, right? Had a little decompress a little bit. I got home. I kirked out. I took a nap. But I couldn't stay asleep because when I don't know how other parents feel about this, particularly if you're a single parent, like I feel guilty when I take a nap. I feel like there should be some parenting that should be going on at this time. Like, oh shit, hold up. Remember, you should always burn something when you burn something. Let me get this incense going. Like, shouldn't I be reading to my kids or something? And we're going through this whole thing now. We're watching like old home movies. And I used to be a good parent. I used to read to them and shit. At some point, I stopped. I don't know when, but I don't know when the last fucking time was I read to my kids. How old? I mean, they all read and shit on their own. But I was thinking, shouldn't that be something you keep doing? Like, that's not just for them to learn how to read. It's also for them to learn or to observe. Like, you watch TV together, why don't you read together? First of all, it can run out the shot clock. You got days to kill now, right? So we binge on The Simpsons. That's the good thing. My kids got hooked on The Simpsons, and I'm happy because that's the greatest show of all times, as you know. Holding Court is number 2. Speaking of which, I digress. I'm upload another show tonight on Facebook and on our YouTube page. I'm gonna link to that shit after here on YouTube or Facebook, whatever the fuck. Y'all can check out Holding Court. Some brilliant shit. You're gonna love it. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So I'm taking a nap. And then I was asleep good. And I got up like, man, let me clean up and go play with the kids or something. Like, what do y'all do about that? Do y'all feel guilty when you fall asleep? I know I shouldn't, but I do, nonetheless. Oh, and the reading thing. Like, what is the age in which we stop parenting our children? Right? Oh, I had a point I was gonna make. I forgot. Oh, that's right. I got another laptop over here now, so instead of looking like this on the paper, I'm gonna go like this. That's as close as I get to a teleprompter. That's why the youngest kid, when you got a lot of kids, that's why the youngest ones be the most fucked up. Cause you just don't have the energy anymore to like do all the little fucking the shapes and stuff, all those tactile learning tools. And just the dedicate. When you have one kid, you like this fucking go nuts with just products. And I don't know if they're effective, but I think the accumulation, the aggregation of all that effort has some sort of positive consequence. The younger ones just been to being tougher because they know they got to fend for themselves. But I think I want to start doing that. I want to start reading with my children again. What do y'all think about that? I'm not saying reading for the purposes of learning to read. Obviously, they're readers. But like culturally. Like even we don't like I think you should have like a book club but for the family. Think about that. Family book clubs. That's pretty dope. I said it first. It's gonna be a new movement I'm gonna start here called Family Book Club. And I'm gonna share with y'all our progress in the books we're reading. This smoke keep blowing up my face. Hold on. That shit burn right there. Oh, fuck it. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, this is another digression. I got one of those weighted blankets, like the gravity blankets, and they're great. Speaking of sleep, that's right. I was gonna use it as a segue because I was talking about naps. Yeah. So the gravity blanket will put your ass to sleep. but like I almost threw my shoulder out moving the covers. It's just 25 pounds. And you forget it's heavy. You just roll over the wrong way. So they should come with like a warning sign or something. But oh yeah. So I'm gonna talk to the young ladies out there. Okay. And discuss there are benefits to being with an older gentleman. Right? I can honestly say, like, I'm a better human being than I was in my mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s. And I've confirmed this, watch these old home videos. I was kind of an asshole, you know? Real demanding, just barking at everybody, barking. Now I'm way more chill. Like I still don't give a fuck about anything, but I'm a calmer human being. So I think as far as being more communicative, is that a word? Communicative and empathetic inside of a relationship construct, I think I'm more suited to be a good man than I was 20 years ago. Okay? But it's a trade-off, ladies. With that calm demeanor and maturity, all right, we got to talk about sex. And I'm going to try to be like less vulgar because I want this shit to be able to be linked to and stuff. But let's say we're pre-gaming. Intimacy has what's the word I'm looking for? Assumed, whatever, has began, right? And we're in the oral copulation stage of intimacy. This young female woman will encourage this older gentleman to go ahead and top her own finish, right? And you thinking like, hold on, I thought she wanted to have sex. Why she want me to finish now? But being a good man, you comply with that request. Now it's time to watch TV. And y'all thinking the same thing. It's, we're done. Then she requests a good ravishing. And you like, now? Today? I'm like vitamins. One a day. It's going to keep you healthy though. But you're getting these vitamins one a day. But I'm just saying there's a balance to everything. And this is all. And here's I had a conversation with my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter. 15-year-old daughter. She was asking me about this woman that I'm involved with. Because I finally broke down and told my kids that I'm in a situation. I don't like bring women around my kids that often, so it's kind of a big deal. Well, never really. But I'm like, fuck all this. They know I'm out here in these streets. So she was asking about her. And she wanted to know, the first thing she asked, how old is she? No, the first thing she asked was she black or white? No, she didn't say she's black or white. She said, is she black? I'm like, yes, Sister Soldier. Relax. Why are you stressing me out? And then she wanted to know how old she was. I wouldn't tell her. I said, younger than me. Right? So we landed on, I didn't want to get specific. But I was, somewhere around 30, I don't know, whatever, don't matter. It don't matter. Right? If you want to know, you can ask her when she meet your new mama. But she was like, how would you like it if I was 25 and I marry a man 35? Right? was like, I don't care. It's like, I'd actually prefer that because I know what a 25-year-old man's capable of. She's like, what does that mean? I said, the story that most little girls dream about, and that I think we even men too dream about in societies that your kids, high school sweetheart, go off, get married, live the rest of your lives happily ever after. Right? But that doesn't really happen. That's very rare. People who have been together since high school that are still together today, they've cheated on each other and had to get over that shit. They had to act like it didn't happen. That's their little secret or whatever. Ain't nobody been together since 18. You're not ready for that. You're not ready for that level of commitment. And women mature faster than men. So women might be ready by 25, but that 25-year-old man's not. That's why 25-year-old women should marry 35-year-old men or 48-year-old. Half a man's age plus 7 minus 3. Okay. You 25? I was a savage at 25. You want to be me at 25? I'm just saying. Oh, I got this other news story I want to share with y'all. Okay. Oh shit, I gotta go back to here first. And then I go like this. Bam. So Google says most of its employees will likely work remotely through the end of the year. And I was thinking about that. I think I might have talked about the other show too, about like what's going to happen post coronavirus. Now, I don't foresee people going back to work anytime soon, like physically, like going back to the same office setup they had previously, particularly larger organizations, right? Just think about the cost benefit analysis and risk mitigation. If let's say you worked at a Google or a big pharmaceutical company or a big bank, well, banks usually don't have a lot of people there. I'm thinking about businesses where there's a lot of people, big, like where they don't have an office, they have a campus. You work in one of them joints. You go back to work, catch corona or whatever the next corona is going to be, and then die or severely or adversely affected by that, you're going to sue. I think there's a new norm now where it's not the presumption that one must be in the office. Now you got to justify it. There's got to be a business case going forward, I believe, to force employees into the office, particularly at the dense levels that, like where my client's office is, they put 2 people there. There's an office that was designed for a person, but they'll put 2 people in there, sometimes 3. And y'all seen it too, particularly like H-1B workers and stuff like that. They just sardine them dudes all day long. Now, when somebody gets sick and dies, then what? How are you going to explain that? Because obviously, they must have been functioning well enough in this new setup to, at the very least, keep the shit to shoe level. I mean, you didn't go out of business. So now you're going to put them at risk by bringing them into the office. And what that means for business. Now, but I think this is a great thing, though, because property owners, particularly commercial property owners who, if you want to start a business, you got to go deal with somebody over the lease. Those property owners are assholes. Like, it's like bill collectors. Like, people who are in commercial real estate and own property that you have to deal with are, to a man, pieces of shit. And I think it's because they have a finite resource that you need, and they tend to have, usually people have a lot. It's not like somebody has one like hot dollar and they go get a commercial property. No. Usually commercial develop. Even if you are an independent owner, you'll eventually get swallowed up by the bigger ones, right? If your property is somewhere that is advantageous. Um, so now the demand is going to go down for those properties. Think about premium real estate or prime real estate for office space, right? If you're thinking, even the restaurant space. So restaurants can get depressed now. Like they can open up the economy all they want. Are you about to go to a restaurant tomorrow? Comedy club, bar. I think bars might a little bit before restaurant comedy clubs because that has a dual purpose, not just to socialize, but it's for mating or to find a mate. You know, you can only do so much swiping. You got to meet somebody. So I think bars would come a little bit before restaurants for comedy clubs, but then office buildings. So as the cost come down, I think some interesting things could develop, like either new businesses where I'm thinking it'll be fractional as opposed to, here's a prediction. I just thought of this shit. See, this is what the smoke do for you. I didn't write this one down or nothing. The new way forward will be kind of like the old way, like speakeasies and stuff, where you would rent space after hours, like an after hours spot. I think what they're gonna do is fractional. There'll be time, like almost like pop ups in real retail space, but it has to be similar functions, obviously, but shared inventory. And then it'll be like private clubs. So let's say you're doing a cooking thing. So instead of having a restaurant, I'm chef so and so. I want 20 people to come over here. It's gonna be $200 a head, right? That's $4,000 for the night. I got a couple thousand overhead, maybe 1,000 overhead, depending on how they carry it. Make my money. The reason why I can do that is because we won't be as densely constituted in there because it's going to be a private event. So restaurants and office spaces are going to go to this model of like a shared utility, kind of like a meetup kind of deal, pop-up meetup, right? So you have the bones there, you have all the facilities you need, but you don't have the traffic because the general population doesn't want to be around strangers in a confined space at densities enough where it's going to make financial sense. But you have 24 hours in a day. If you can monetize each hour at significantly reduced rates, that the business owner can then make that money by charging a premium for smaller amounts of people through some sort of private enterprise, private clubs, or an event. Think about that. I think event planning and these smaller kind of targeted, marketed, niche sort of cultural bubbles will start to emerge because the buildings ain't going nowhere, so they're going to be used. I would say for the next few years, the restaurant business as we know it, as it's currently constructed, won't reach 50% of its exist. If you had a baseline density for the aggregate of all restaurants in America as of 3 months ago, baseline that, you will not hit that again for a couple years at least. And here's the thing: like, I don't even give a shit about the coronavirus. Like, as far as like, I'm not scared of it or whatever. I think it's, whatever. I mean, it's a real thing, but I'm healthy, whatever. But I still ain't going to a restaurant. Like my habits have changed. I used to eat out a lot, but now I've gotten back into cooking again. I'm eating good food, and I know I'm not going to catch anything because I clean my food. And then I'm looking at the money I'm saving. Like, do I really need to go out and spend money for somebody else to cook me food? right? There's other ways to spend, like, because really, dinner is either a celebration of some sort, or you're being lazy, you just don't feel like cooking, or some sort of romantic thing, or getting away from the kids. Well, now people have found other ways to do that, getting back to nature and things. Movies. Movies is a tough one because you do want that social experience, but like, I wonder if Rona would have hit in the winter when people had colds and were sneezing and shit. Like, people don't want to be around nobody coughing. I don't know if I'm going to go to movie theater either. I've been watching so many good movies just off of, buying them joints. Now I got my library going again. I got like all these, I'm going back to classics too and introducing my kids to classics. So I feel like it's more family bonding going on there. And that's one of the positive effects of Rona. Like my man JB was saying, like families have rediscovered those habits. So now that I've formed obviously a better habit, like coffee shops. Like I got a great coffee maker over there. My coffee is bomb. Like that's one thing that, like, I'm not bougie, but I have my bougie things that I like. I don't know what I do with fucking regular coffee. I need a latte. I'm sorry. I cannot fuck with that drip, just drink it like Folger stuff. No. And I import all my beans from Hawaii. That's how I go. I should run over and get them, but I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm going to end with, unless I think of something else. I was thinking about like all these kids from college home right now. And then they're doing their classes and shit. But they got to go back to school as soon as possible, especially because these motherfuckers ain't really at risk. And, we don't want college towns going broke either. Like we need the businesses and the people, the jobs that are created by those businesses. We need them to stay in business. Otherwise, it's a domino effect. And they're not that much at risk. Like college age kids are, they're the healthy ones. Plus they usually have, they have doctors there and all that stuff. So they're pretty safe. But I was thinking like the benefit of college is not just the education. That might be the least of it. Really, college is just like the military in the sense that it gives you a chance to reinvent yourself. And I did both. I was in college and in the military. That's where people go to lie about how good they were at sports or how tough they were, how many girls they had. But you have to go through that process to figure out who you are, right? Because before that, you're just under the thumb of your parents or your auntie or whatever. So if you get away, you get a chance to be a man or be a woman that you envisioned yourself to be. And that's why I think people who never leave, if you just stay home from high school and then get a job or, just otherwise just hang around mom and dad, it infantilizes you. I can't say that. It infantilizes you. You can never become a grown-up until you get to go reinvent yourself. All right? Now, I'm not getting the full hour in this show. I'm sorry. But I got to 46 minutes, so I'm pretty proud of myself. So on a scale of 100, if you figure that's a C. That's a 70. That's not bad. I'll take a C for this joint. I'll be back Monday. I was trying to see if you had any deep thoughts that pop into my head. I don't have any deep thoughts right now. But I thank y'all for tuning in. I'll be back Monday. Check for those holding court episodes. I'm going to link to those. And hopefully as I dig through, none of these tapes are labeled properly. So I'm looking for some gems. I got one gem with our homegirl Isis, who y'all going to meet. I just found her on Facebook too. Hopefully we'll link up. I can bring her on and interview her on the show. But anyway, y'all be easy. Big bank take little bank. I'ma holler. P.